Hey guys, welcome back to the show. So I want to get into Barbara Corcoran's 5 reasons why Zoomers should buy a house right now, because it's time to get in. So let's get right into it. So one of her catchphrases is you should beg, borrow, and steal to get a house. And I'm pretty sure this means you should beg as in the bank of mom and dad. So beg for that 0% money, right? Like if you're gonna get some country club money, if you got a rich uncle that's gonna give you some cash to help you buy a house, you should definitely take advantage of that. Now, I wouldn't say that most people have that advantage. A lot of people probably don't have someone who's just gonna give them, like hundreds of thousands to get into a deal. Because she also tells you should put 20% down, and that's the golden rule. I just made my own lane here. That's cool. It wasn't my fault though. There's no stripes back there. We need stripes. But yeah, you should not put 20% down on a house. I don't know why that's the golden rule. She says that, it's going to cash flow if you put 20% down. Well, obviously, because you just took all your cash and you took a position on the asset. What you really should do if you're buying a house is you want to get into that deal for as little down as you possibly can. Like 3% down. You use a conventional 97. Use an FHA. If you want to buy a small multifamily, maybe you want to buy a 2-family, 3-family, 4-family, quadruplex. We like the families. I like families. I don't know. People don't like families anymore. I like families. But a triplex, a quadruplex, a duplex, okay? That's a 5% down Fannie Mae. That's what you want if you're going to buy a small multifamily house. And so that's the other thing. So I disagree with that one. But yeah, definitely beg, borrow, and steal. Always steal a good deal. If you got a house that is below market value and you can get into that deal for 3% down, definitely. Or if you got somebody who's selling below market price and they're gonna offer you financing, maybe they're gonna do an owner finance deal, or maybe they already have 3% rate on their loan, and they would gladly let you take over the payments for what they owe on the house. They just buy the house for what they owe on it and take over the payments. That's a subject too, but that's another great way to steal a deal. And maybe the house needs work, but you can get into it for nothing down and take over a 3% interest rate. Like, that's an excellent way to buy a house. But don't just put 20% down because Grandma Corcoran said so. One thing she did say, which was a good point, you should try to look for deals in bad school districts on the come up. And I think this is an excellent observation, and one that most people don't think about. But I actually bought a couple of infill lots in an area that people, they talk trash about this neighborhood. But there's a brand new house that just went up right next to those lots. There's 2 brand new houses that were just built on the block over. And there's another new house going up across the street a few lots down. So this area is definitely on the come up, but it's like a C-rated school district right now. So would you rather buy a C school district and get something like at a low price that might appreciate for you, or would you rather buy in an A school district that might be on the decline over time? Like kind of a legacy, affluent area of the city that's starting to deteriorate a little bit. Like, you don't want to buy that area because that area is going to get worse. You'd rather buy a working class, moderate income area that's going to get better. So I definitely like the comment about, look for bad school districts, even though that might be a red flag to some of you guys out there. Yeah, I mean, you want an area that's going to be on the come up. So definitely look for that if you can get a deal. And it is about the deal. She says you should always overpay, and that's wrong. You should not always overpay. You should not get into a bidding war when you buy real estate. That's a bad idea. That's a bad strategy for you. You should always try to bid below the asking price at the very least. And I mean, I don't know why this is a thing of hers. See, she wants you to win the deal, but a lot of times in order to win the deal, you might have to overpay you have to bid above the asking price. And why? Why would you do that right now? Like right now, it's garbage time. Like during the disease, everybody ran up the score. They bid up the prices because the money was cheap. And I don't think we're ever going to see interest rates that cheap again, guys. So you just have to assume that 7% is the new normal. And so you have to bid a price that's appropriate with that debt. Like the house has to support itself with the debt. So, you know, that's a big consideration. You should always remember it's got to support itself with the debt. And I think that's why she tells you to put the 20% down. You know. Plus, also, if you put 20% down on a deal, that means if the market takes a dive and goes down 15%, there's still a little bit of equity left, so everybody gets paid, right? Because the realtor's got to get paid. You know, you're going to have selling costs. So that sort of ensures that you don't have to show up at the closing table with money to sell your own house. Like that is the absolute worst situation to be in. And if you have a real estate agent that's telling you you can get out of this house, I could sell it for you, you're just going to have to show up at the closing table with cash, don't do it. Because you could probably sell that house quickly and have someone take over the payments because you probably have a really good interest rate on that deal. You know, because you probably bought it a few years ago, and now you got a return to office mandate. Now you have to move back wherever you came from, and you just don't want to have a vacant house sitting there 1,500 miles away. But maybe you could sell that quickly. Maybe I could take over the payments, you know, or another investor. But I'm just saying there's ways to get out of a deal like that without having to show up at the closing table with cash. But that's where the 20% comes from. It's like a buffer. It also protects the banksters. You know, it's good for all the transactionalists out there. But they're not in it for you. They're in it for the sale. You know, these are salespeople. So always remember that when you hear, you know, real estate info in corporate media. Because, you know, they want to protect themselves and they want to keep the deals flowing, keep the cash pumping through the system, right? Because we got to keep the system propped up. That's what it's all about right now. So hopefully that was helpful for you guys. Gives you a few things to think about. And if you're a Zoomer out there, definitely think about these things. But you shouldn't put 20% down. You should put 3% down. You should put 5% down, 3.5%, whatever. Because that's how you get in. That's how you control the asset. That's how you hold that puppy for a long time, and you make money slow. You cash flow every month, and then someday down the road you're going to sell it. But you're not going to sell it 2 years from now. You're not going to buy a house in 2021 and sell it in 2024. That's the wrong way, right? We don't want to do things the wrong way here. We want to be smart when we buy and sell houses. So I hope you guys liked the video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm Danny Elliott. Thanks for watching.